Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Samasta Jana Kalyani Nidatam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sargurum Brahma Vidvaram Om Pathaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Puranamuna Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamrita Varshini Bhagavati Ashtadashadhyayini Ambatvam Anusandadhami Bhagavadgite Bhavadveshini Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Sturvante Devestavaye Vedai Sangapadakramo Panishade Gayanti Yam Samavaha Dhyana Vastita Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginam Yasyantam Navidusura Sivanam Devaya Tasmai Namaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. So second chapter, finally Arjuna has surrendered to Shri Krishna. And the 10th verse, he has thrown away his bow and arrow. And he says, I will not fight. Now from 11th verse starts the teaching of the Lord. If you see the commentary of Shankaracharya ji on the Bhagavad Gita, starts with the 11th verse of the second chapter. Till then he just gave an introductory note. Verse by verse commentary he didn't make. So the main teaching of the Gita starts from here. Before we go into the 11th verse, some fundamental aspects are important to be clarified. So we begin with most basic aspect. All of us act in this world. Action is inevitable. Everyone has to do action. When we do action, we get a certain result. And all of us know that the result which we get is temporary. So the result which is temporary will give us also happiness which is temporary. What is the cause of action? Desire. Let us say we split that into two. Thoughts and desires give rise to thoughts, thoughts give rise to action, action gives us result, result is being temporary, it leaves a craving within us. So either we repeat the same action or we do some other type of action. It doesn't lead to fulfillment. Basic motivation for any activity. Why do we have desire? Why do we think? Why do we act? Vedanta says there are two basic motives for any action. is attain permanent happiness, which we call as Paramananda Prapti. Nobody wants to be happy only for some time, right? We all want to be happy at all times, in all places, in every situation. So we want permanent happiness. And also we want freedom from pain and sorrow. And fear also. So we call this as Atyantika Dukkha Nivritti. Atyantika means once and for all. So we don't want relief from pain and sorrow, we want freedom from pain and sorrow. These two are the motives of action of any creature in the world. It is not only for human being. Even a small worm or an ant or a dog or a bird, every creature does not want pain and sorrow, wants to be comfortable, happy. Now what happens if these two are the motives, permanent happiness and freedom from pain and sorrow? Many times we are not aware that this is the main motive of our action. Hence we are thinking that okay, I want a job, I want money, then I want comfort, I want enjoyment, I want all these. But basically what I am seeking is not any of these. Through these I am seeking only these. Basic want of human life is this. But whenever desire is fulfilled, my basic want is not getting fulfilled. Why? Because the result that I am getting is temporary. So how much ever effort I put, what I get is going to be temporary. Even if the desire is fulfilled according to what I want, experience is temporary happiness. If it is not fulfilled, then there is pain. But either way there is experience of temporary satisfaction or result. So one doesn't feel fulfilled in life. And so if you retrace this chain, that we have desire. Why do we have desire? Habit, okay, past vasanas. But why are we having that?
Incomplete happiness. Unfulfilled. What do you have?
Because of attachment we have desire.
We feel that.
Because we feel unfulfilled.
We feel that external happiness, external such circumstances are giving us.
So first important thing is we feel that happiness is outside, hence we desire. And when we desire, then we have to continuously think about it, how will it be fulfilled, where to do, what to do. Leads to action, result, temporary happiness. So the result of this temporary happiness is there's a craving or an impression that is left on my mind, where I feel again that I need to desire something to become happy. So one desire is fulfilled, I experience some joy, result is temporary, again I need another desire. So this goes on. So this cycle is self-sustaining. Every desire will lead to more desires.
What is that creating the impression?
Yeah, so it creates an impression on our mind. If the desire is fulfilled and it is I have experienced happiness, the impression may be that I should want this again, or it will be that I don't want this, I want something else, which in Vedanta we call as vasana, impression. Every result that we experience in life gives us, every action that we do gives us two results. One result is a visible result. So you can either get something at a physical level, or you experience an emotional joy or some intellectual achievement, satisfaction. But all the three are limited. Each of them will leave an impression on the mind. Suppose a coffee I drink, first time I drink a coffee. There's a craze, Starbucks coffee. 6 months before that Starbucks came, everybody started. Starbucks is coming, Starbucks is coming, Starbucks is coming, Starbucks is coming. Everywhere on Facebook, everybody going on. Starbucks, Starbucks, Starbucks. Then Starbucks came. What a line. Just to drink 1 cup of coffee. And not to drink only 1 cup of coffee. When it got introduced, that time I had to drink. I was one of those who drank first 50 cups of coffee from Starbucks. It's the same coffee which they give you after 1 month also. Same quality, because they have the same, standard procedure. But no, I must have that thrill, So, the first time I drink that coffee, physically what I am experiencing? Pleasure. Coffee. Emotionally, my feeling is satisfied. I was, Swamiji, first cup of coffee which came to Mumbai, I was the person who drank. Who bothers about it? Nobody. But I have that strange kick. So emotionally I feel satisfied. Intellectually my desire is fulfilled, so I feel very good. But after this what happened? These are visible results. But there is an impression which is left behind. When I drank the coffee, if I love the coffee, there is an impression on the mind. Coffee, I plus coffee is equal to happiness. So that impression will make me desire coffee the next day also. Then the third day, then the fourth day. Now slowly that thought channel becomes stronger. Now that is called as a impression or a vasana. So now that has become a deep rooted pattern. That will make me desire. And I will feel compelled by that desire. If I don't like it, I will create a strong aversion. I don't know how much I did, but I am very disappointed with Starbucks. Freedom coffee is better. My mom makes in my house. So that I will make one impression in my head. So impression is subtler than the desire. It is a field from where the desire springs forth. Now what happens in life is, we go only in this cycle. Hardly one inquires that why should there be a desire? I want permanent happiness. I don't even inquire that desire which I entertain can give me only temporary happiness. First of all, why should there be a desire? Or rather, the question is, when do we desire? When you feel empty. When you feel empty, okay.
Forget the self.
Forget the self.
Seek happiness.
You seek happiness, that is true. But that is, are we desiring all the time in our life? Are there moments where we don't desire anything?
No, also at that time when a desire is fulfilled, the time immediately after that we don't desire.
Yeah. So sleep definitely, deep sleep. But even when the desire is fulfilled, immediately the agitation has become quiet. The more number of desires, the more number of thoughts, more restlessness to act. So our equation is what? Maximum desires are fulfilled, maximum happiness we will get. So Gurudev used to give us the equation of happiness. What did he say? Happiness is equal to number of desires fulfilled by number of desires entertained. This formula Gurudev made up, so nice. So if I have 200 desires and 150 of them are fulfilled, then what is my happiness? How much percentage? 75%. If 180 desires are fulfilled, 190 desires are fulfilled, much more happy. 200 desires are fulfilled, total happiness. So I think that when all my desires are fulfilled, then I will become happy. Do we think like that? We don't think like that. We do think like that. We are confused. We may or may not take it. That's what happens when you come to philosophy class. You ask the same question outside, the answer will be very clear. You come to philosophy class, suddenly you wonder, now what do I give the answer? Because we are bothered about what is the correct answer, am I giving correct answer or not what I am thinking. So, a lot of people think that maximum desires get fulfilled, maximum happiness. And if all desires get fulfilled, complete happiness. So, try to fulfill maximum of desires. And if you keep increasing the desire, more desire, more achievement, more happiness. That is the materialistic outcome. So maximum desires entertain, maximum happiness. In fact, our Chinmaya motto says that. Maximum happiness to maximum people for maximum time. How do you achieve that? Anybody has any desire, fulfill it. They will become maximum happy. Right? But we don't do that. Why? Because the logic is very simple. Instead of increasing the numerator, you decrease the denominator. Number of desires entertained. 200 desires I have. Instead of that, I have only 100. The lesser the number of desires, more fulfilled the mind will be. And the desire becomes zero, happiness will be infinite. So the equation that desire is equal to happiness makes us seek happiness outside. And then we become extrovert. Even one desire is enough to create so much thought agitation. Just one desire. Now imagine how many more desires are there in our own mind and how much thought agitation. And such a mind, how will it become quiet, peaceful, attain permanent happiness? Not possible. So when we inquire into why we desire, when we desire only when we feel incomplete. And why do we feel incomplete? Incompleteness actually, what is a desire? In fact, it is nothing but an expression of incompleteness. We feel incomplete. When do we feel incomplete? No, don't come to that.
Because you forget yourself, your bliss.
When do we feel incomplete? Yes. It is like this in maths. If you have, all of us have gone through maths, right? So we know that this is the answer. Okay. The problem is given, this is the answer. Somehow do something, come to that answer, or you don't come to that answer. Write that answer and say, hence proved. Over. So that you will get the mark. So in Vedanta, we know what is the answer? Ignorance of the self. Vasana. Over. Hence proved. Now, how did you come there? That is very important. When do we feel incomplete? Not respecting society. When I don't respect society, I feel incomplete. Maybe.
Happiness is not fulfilled.
No, that is the cause for this desire. When this temporary happiness is there, I feel empty, so I want to feel, I have a desire and I will keep, so that keeps going round and round. There is a sense of two things are there. One is emptiness, one is incompleteness. Emptiness is, I have attained something, still I am not happy, which makes me desire more. But there is an incompleteness that one feels. Very few people even recognize this. You know why I am taking all this right now? Because if you come to this point, then the solution of Geeta will become relevant. Otherwise it becomes very There is no connection between what is the problem of Arjuna and what is the solution Bhagavan is giving. Incompleteness we feel only when there is identification with that which is incomplete. Think. In sleep, do you feel incomplete? Why? Because that which is incomplete, body, mind, intellect, one is not identified with that. Why do you say body is incomplete? Body is incomplete because it is only from the top of my head to the tip of my toes. This much only it is. Mind is incomplete because it will go only into the realm of the known. Intellect is incomplete because the thoughts come, go. They are very momentary. So body, mind, intellect is incomplete. It is not permanent, right? It is changing every minute. Every minute the cells in the body, how many millions of them are born and dying, born and dying. Body changes every minute. Emotions change. The same person whom I could not live without that person. Now I can't live with that person. Same person.
So incomplete is the same as temporary, is it?
Temporary will, see, our demand for the permanent means I have to experience that which is permanent. And this body, mind, intellect which are temporary don't allow me to experience that which is permanent. That's why I feel incomplete when I identify with the body, mind, intellect. So incomplete is not equal to temporary. One of the aspects of that which is incomplete is that it is temporary. It is continuously changing. So when body, mind, intellect changes, one idea I have, one thought I have, ideology I believe in, democracy. After some time I change. Sometimes I am an atheist and then suddenly I become a believer. So the intellectual ideology also changes. One man said, my spouse transformed me from a non-believer to the believer. I said, Acha, what happened? He said, before marriage, I did not believe in hell. After marriage, I believe. From a non-believer, I became a believer. Body changes, mind changes, intellect changes, all this keeps changing. And what is my demand? Permanent. How will I experience permanent happiness? Holding on to impermanent things. My body, mind, intellect changes. World outside, object, emotions, thoughts, all that also changes. Now holding on to the temporary, I can't experience the permanent. So whenever I identify with that which is incomplete, I feel incomplete. In sleep, I don't identify with my body, mind, intellect. Deep sleep. In waking state, when I am completely absorbed in the work that I am doing, are you aware of who you are? At that time, you have forgotten who you are. Fully absorbed in the work. In the state of true love, you feel very full because you forget yourself. There is only beloved. So, this incompleteness arises when there is false identification with body, mind, intellect, which you can also call it as ego or individuality. When I experience this ego or individuality, that ego or individuality feels incomplete. That incompleteness makes me desire according to my impression. Whatever are the impressions, according to that I desire. One doesn't desire anything just randomly. Desires are according to the impression. So if I feel incomplete and my impression is that to feel complete I should drink Starbucks coffee and I go and drink coffee. If my impression says that okay, go to satsang, I will go to satsang. If my impression says go and play a sport, I will play a sport. Because the impressions are that which are the seeds unmanifest and they will manifest as a desire.
Swamiji, why do you say false identity?
Yes, I am coming to that. This false identification, first I said it is identification at BMI and then I added the word false. Why do I say false identification with body, mind, intellect? Because body, mind, intellect is only my tool. But today I think I am that body, mind, intellect. which is false. I am not a body, mind, intellect. I have a body, mind, intellect. Like I have a pen, I have a mic, I have a phone. Am I the pen, the mic, the phone? I am using these. Same way I use the body to see, taste, hear, smell, touch, walk, all this. I use the mind to feel emotions. I use the intellect to think the thoughts. But I am different. And why do I say I am different? Because we saw in the example of sleep that body, mind, intellect I am not aware of, but I am. Which means I don't depend on them, they depend on me. So one who knows this very clearly that this is only a tool. Now I am unnecessarily thinking of them as me, which is why it is false identification with the body, mind, intellect. And why do I falsely identify with the body, mind, intellect as me? Because I don't know who am I truly. Hence ignorance of self, S capital. Who I am, self means the real I. So what is this real I? I don't know. I only know the equipment. And I am thinking I am this equipment. If I step back and think that this is only the equipment that I have, who am I? Who is the real I? Simple exercise you do. Try to describe yourself without any relationships, without any adjectives. Can we try? Suppose I say, please explain who are you. What will you say? In the interviews they ask you, tell us something about yourself. So you start describing yourself, what will you describe? My name is so and so, I am son of so and so, I have done this education qualification, I am having this quality, these are my achievements. All these are related to body or mind or intellect or some relationships outside. Who am I? Without any of these, that I don't know. So that ignorance of the self makes me identify falsely with the body, mind, intellect, and then I am feeling incomplete, and then the impression, desire, thought, action, this cycle, whole thing goes on. Now what happens in life is, most of us are caught in this much only. Desire, thought, action, result, temporary happiness, which further leads to desire. We are not aware of this portion at all. Very few people are even aware that there is a force called vasana or impression, or in psychology we call as unconscious mind. And unconscious mind is the major cause of whatever we go through, not even the subconscious mind. It is the unconscious mind which is filled with so many impressions which create desire, then thought, then action. It is like the seed which germinates stage by stage. So what happens is, most of us are caught in this, and the notion is more desire fulfilled, more happiness. So try to keep on increasing desire. And hence more stress, more worry, more tension, more agitation. Now I want relief from that. So what will I do? Go to some Ayurvedic massage, go for some spa, play some sport, do some hobby, go into nature. Now and then do some prayer. So I may seek relief, nothing wrong in that. But point is, we have to understand the root cause of our sorrow. And why is it that I feel incomplete in spite of achieving so many things? Money, power, pleasure, position, success, name, fame, all these, even if I achieve all these, do I experience these two? Permanent happiness and freedom from sorrow I don't experience. You may say that, no Swamiji, I am not craving, but I am not free from this at least. Freedom from pain and sorrow once and for all. That I don't experience. I may not feel. Suppose you say, I don't feel any more craving for so many things that earlier I used to feel because I have achieved a lot of things. I feel fairly content. But still I am not free from pain, sorrow, fear, finitude, all that is not gone. So what is the solution for it? Is only when I understand this is the root cause of my sorrow, that I don't know who am I. Not knowing who I am, I feel I am this individual. And the moment I identify with this individuality, that sense of incompleteness is there and my entire mind becomes extrovert. So at this moment, even Arjun has this issue. He is looking at himself as a person, as an individual, and now taking that entire situation personally. He thinks Bhishma and Drona are also individuals, I am also individual, I am here to fight and I have to kill them. And then how it will be that I am going to kill them. So he goes through all the guilt and stress and the anxiety and everything. In this second chapter, when Bhagavan starts this discourse, he says, you are grieving for those who should not be grieved for. And from there the whole knowledge begins. He begins with this self-knowledge. Why does he begin with self-knowledge? Because this is the root cause of our sorrow. All our confusions in life are because of this. It is not because of this. This is only an effect. The main cause is this, the feeling of incompleteness. A person who faces that incompleteness is called as a seeker. Majority of the people don't even face that incompleteness. The moment you feel incomplete, what do you do? Escape. What is the most difficult thing in life to do?
Nothing.
True, to do nothing. To be with yourself is the most difficult thing to do. How much time we spend with ourselves? Ourselves means I am not even talking ourselves as an individual. See, ourselves as an individual, okay, still there, that also not many will follow. How much time we spend with our true self? We don't know only what is the true self. So to do nothing becomes most difficult. You tell anybody, sit quietly. Most difficult thing to do is what? Sit quietly. We do that in our youth course, youth empowerment program. We send them into solitude room. One evening we send them, next evening they come back. And they cannot do anything. They can't take a pen, they can't take a book, they can't take a, iPod and headphone and all that, nothing. In that room there will be only one table, one chair, one cot. Food also is kept for that one day, that place. Nobody will go inside. They are locked from outside. They have to be only by themselves. Curtains are drawn, so you can't even peep out and keep seeing what is happening. Nothing. One day, try doing that. You will say, maybe I go to sleep. How much will you sleep? 16 hours, 18 hours? How much? And such people who are so intelligent who go off to sleep, you just extend their tenure by one more day. Sit alone now. Point is, why don't you face yourself? And Gurudev always used to say that if you cannot enjoy your own company, why inflict it on others? Be by yourself, doing nothing. Try. You get fantastic realization with all that. Because most of the time we are not able to feel incomplete. We run outside. Join some club, go here, go there, do some. If nothing, take up the phone. Nowadays where there is no need to escape anywhere. One phone is enough now. Whole world is there in that phone only. Keep on browsing something and posting something and clicking some camera, picture, posting, writing, commenting, anything you can do. But don't be with yourself. So majority does not be with themselves. So they don't understand only that what is this sense of incompleteness, why am I feeling unfulfilled? And one keeps going round and round in this circle. And this is the way of life. That temporary happiness will keep experiencing now and then some pain will come, sorrow will come. Chalo, this is how life is meant to be. Just live like this. So one drags through life, not knowing the real purpose. Here in Geeta we find that Bhagavan analyzes the whole cause of Arjuna. The major cause I don't know who I am. And that is the cause of sorrow for everybody. If I know who I am truly, my wants, basic wants get fulfilled, bas, that's all. Such a person is liberated in life. Imagine how we live our life. Our wants keep getting fulfilled, but our wanting doesn't get fulfilled. Why? Because the basic wants are not fulfilled. I am only fulfilling some superficial wants. Okay, I wanted car, I got a car. I wanted promotion, I got promotion. I wanted a wife, I got a wife. Now what? All the wants are fulfilled, but my wanting has not gone. Why wanting has not gone? And when does the wanting go away? Wanting goes away when I am in the state of deep sleep. Wanting goes away when there is no next desire arising. Wanting goes away when I don't identify with body, mind and intellect. So the effort should not be to increase more desires. Effort should be to get out of this false sense of identification. That I am not this body, mind and intellect. Hunger of the body, is it my hunger? It is the condition of the body, not my condition. I am different from that. Thirst of the body is not my thirst. Not that you should not satisfy the hunger and thirst. That you satisfy, but it is not me. Otherwise, you think about it. We have equated ourselves to the body only. Suppose I ask you a question: do you eat to live or live to eat? What will you say? Swamiji, actually we live to eat, but it doesn't feel good to say that. So we are saying that we eat to live. If we eat to live, we have to eat very different things, which is good for the body. The bottom line comes down to we live only to eat. Finally, all sense enjoyments boil down to what? Eat, drink, enjoy, be merry. Nothing wrong with it, but the point is, I do that as an escape. I think that that will make me permanently happy. And if I do that more and more and more, I will become totally happy. No, that is not the way to happiness. That's why our culture it is said, Tyagat Shanti Anantaram. Tyage naike amritatva manashu. Only by renunciation you will attain that. Renunciation of what? This false identification. I am not the body, mind, intellect. If I see myself as the body, mind, intellect, I will see others also as body, mind, intellect. That is the problem with Arjuna. He is seeing himself as body, mind, intellect. He is seeing Bhishma and Drona also as body, mind, intellect. Now he is feeling miserable that I will kill them, they will cease to exist, I will become responsible for it. All the stress, worry, anxiety, everything starts. So this is the whole cycle which we call as a cycle of ignorance. And when I don't know, mind will project, and when the mind projects, then I feel miserable. So in short, this whole cycle is explained in Vedanta in just 3 words. It is Ajnana leads to Moha, and Moha leads to Shoka. Ignorance leads to delusion, and delusion leads to sorrow. So what is the ignorance? Ignorance of the self. I don't know who I am truly, then I am deluded to think that I am this body, mind, intellect, and whatever is the condition of body, mind, intellect, now that becomes my condition, so that leads to sorrow. So if I keep trying to have relief methods to handle this sorrow, that is not going to be of any consequence. It is very temporary. What I need is a clarity to handle delusion, and then I need the knowledge of the self. If these two come to me, I am free. And that is what Geeta is trying to tell us. That inquire into who you are truly. That don't be deluded. Yeah, delusion is such a thing where I don't see something as it is, I see something else. So I don't see the rope and then I see the snake. So that ignorance of the rope automatically makes the mind project a snake. I don't see the mirage, the sand, but I see the mirage there. So I see water. So ignorance automatically leads to delusion, and delusion leads to sorry. Now the moment I think there is a snake and the snake has bit me and now I am going to die and what will happen to my family, all the psychological brooding, imagination, everything starts. So in this 11th verse, Bhagavan is trying to handle this aspect. Let us read the 11th verse and then we take it ahead. Ashocyanan vasoch, oh sorry. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Ashocyanan vasochastvam Prajñavaadanscha bhashase Gatasuna gatasumscha Nanushocanti panditaha. So now Bhagavan gives first shloka he says is Ashocyanan Vasochastvam. You are grieving for those who should not be grieved for. Prajñavadanscha bhashase. But you are talking like a wise man. All those arguments that he gave, so many, it looks as though he is a very big Pandit, great man who has so much of knowledge and he is quoting the Shastra also that this will happen and dharma will get destroyed, society will get destroyed, you should not fight and all that big lecture he gave. He says you are grieving for those who should not be grieved for and you are talking as though you are a wise man. Gatasum agatasumscha. Those who are living. Now, asu means prana. Gata asu means one whose prana is gone, meaning the dead. And agata asu means whose prana is not gone, meaning the living. Na anushocanti panditaha. But really wise person is one who will not grieve for the living or for the dead. Meaning you are not that wise person. You are only talking like that wise person. Simple meaning. That Arjun, you are grieving for those who should not be grieved for, but you are talking like a very wise man. Those who are really wise neither grieve for the living nor they grieve for the dead. Now let us see the meaning of this. The first word of this is Ashocyanan. So actually the Upadesh of Bhagavan begins with this word. And in the 18th chapter he will end with the 66th verse where he will say Sarva Dharman Parityajya. That shloka ends with Ma Shuchaha. So the Geeta is also called as Ashoka Upanishad. If in simple words you want to tell somebody that what is the Geeta about, if they don't understand this avidya and ignorance of the self and all that, forget it. That the ajnana leads to moha, moha leads to shoka. Shoka is grief. So Geeta is ashoka, that which helps you to get over grief once and for all. Not relief, cure. That's why it's called Ashoka Upanishad. At least 12 to 14 times it comes in the Gita. Ma Shuchaha, Natvam Shochitum Arhasi. Again and again. So if after studying the Gita I am still miserable, that means Gita has not done its job for me. I have not gone through the Gita properly. That's what it means. After studying Gita, I should become Anandaswarup. Not that Hare Kya Gita, life is so miserable. I still keep on grumbling in life. There are many people who go through Gita again and again and again, but still they break their head and they are miserable only. Why? Because the basic aspect, that grip is not there in life. One continues to have duragraha, one continues to have attachment, one continues to have wandering of the mind, continues to live in an indulgent way, and then one says, I went through Gita, Swamiji, nothing happened. Did I tell you that incident with Gurudev? One man went to Gurudev. I told you that. He went to Gurudev and he said, Swamiji, I have gone through Gita 3 times. Full Gita, 3 times I have gone. But nothing happened. I am still same miserable fellow. He said, nothing will happen, don't worry. You have gone through Gita 3 times. Allow the Gita to go through you once, you will be transformed. Meaning, let the Gita go through you. You live what the Gita is saying. Live in the detachment, live with that clarity, try to understand what it is saying. So Gita is called Ashoka Upanishad. So having studied the Gita, my life should become free from Shoka. Now here, why does he say that you are grieving for those who should not be grieved for? At simple one level, you are grieving for your enemy. They don't deserve to be grieved for, because all means of peace have been resolved now. There is no way that there will be peace, and they have chosen now to be on the side of adharma. So why are you grieving for them? Just kill them and do your duty. They don't deserve grief. Especially if you saw in the first chapter, those people who are the felons, all the 5 types of atrocities they have done. They are atatayins. They deserve to be killed. Somebody who has come and looted your house, ill-treated your mother and your wife and everything they have done and tried to kill you, will you feel compassion for them? No. He says you are grieving for those who don't deserve to be grieved. And you are talking like a wise man. That is one level, at the external level. But internally, he makes him aware that this Bhishma and Drona and all these people, you are attached to them. You think that they are the body, mind, intellect, and so you are grieving for them. But they don't deserve to be grieved for, because they are also the imperishable soul. And so are you. And why are you grieving for that which is imperishable? That he will explain now through the whole chapter. The self-knowledge portion of the second chapter is verse number 16 to 30 will be an elaboration of this. So that you are grieving for those who don't deserve to be grieved. At 3 levels we have to understand this. First is at the level of the body. At the physical level, they are on the wrong side, and it is your duty as a Kshatriya to fight. So you better fight without any grief in your heart. At the level of the Jiva, that is the mind and the intellect, the body will drop here, but the Jiva will go into another body according to its karma. So what are you grieving for? Life doesn't cease to exist. In fact, that is the next shloka where he speaks about reincarnation. And he says that life doesn't cease to exist at the time of death. Only the body you drop. And according to the karma, you will come to again relate with each other. Whatever is the karma, it has brought you together, it will again bring you together. So again you don't need to grieve. And at the spiritual level, you are the imperishable self. And so are Bhishma, Drona and all these people, which is indestructible, immortal. So what are you grieving for? There is nothing to grieve for. And yet you speak the you speak the words of the wise people. As though wise, pratnya vadansha bhashase. As though wise you are speaking all this. But let me tell you who is really wise. The word used for wise here is Pandit. Unfortunately, that word Pandit has become so not common. It has lost its glory and its depth.
Corrupted.
Yeah, it has become almost corrupted. So who is a Pandit? Some ritualist, karmakandi fellow who has some, tough hair like that, and he comes with his dhoti and he keeps doing some mantras which you can't pronounce, you can't understand. Something he mumbles, he puts something in the fire, does some ritual, takes some nice fat dakshina and eats nice laddus made up of ghee and goes away. And we don't like these Pandits. We don't want them to do any ritual. We don't want to. They come and exploit us. They do everything. But that kind of a feeling one has. And anybody who is spiritual nowadays, they start calling them Panditji. So they look at us also and call Panditji. Sometimes we go and, where we are traveling somewhere in the train or something. And people will ask you, Panditji, आप हाथ देखते हो क्या? So that's the impression. The Pandit means he should be doing some ritual, some astrology, some prediction. That's all. He's an unintelligent fellow. Something little bit of Shastra he knows. You know the definition of Pandit is beautiful. Shankaracharya defines who is a Pandit in this commentary of the Gita. He says, Panda means Atma Vishaya Buddhihi Yasya Asti Saha Pandita. A person who has the knowledge of the self is a Pandit. Not somebody who is just a karmakandi or ritualist person. So a person who has the knowledge of the self, what will that wise person do? He says that person will neither grieve for the living nor for the dead. Again, three types of people here. Ignorant people, they grieve for the dead. अरे चला गया, हमको छोड़ के चला गया, अभी 10 मिनट पहले बात किया, अभी चला गया, and cry. Because they don't know what is death, what is happening. Even if they know the attachment is so strong that it will not make them accept that fact, naturally, anybody will go through that pain. But ignorant. So ignorant will grieve for the dead. Learned person will grieve for the living. Why? Because look at the way we are living our life. What we are supposed to be doing as a human being and what we are doing here. Such a big difference between what we should be and how we are. So the suffering of the learned is very different. Because now I know what are the harmful effects of indulgence and attachment and this and that and everything I know, and in spite of that, I am living. Like the doctor who knows everything and he keeps telling everybody also, don't smoke, smoking is injurious, smoking will kill you, it will create cancer. And when all the patients go away, start knowing. So the buddhi will insult that person. Why did you do it? What a fool you are. You don't have even this much control over your life. So the learned grieve for the living, the ignorant grieve for the dead. Wise man grieves neither for the living nor for the dead. In fact, the expression given here is very good. Asu means prana. Gata asu means one whose prana is gone. So there are two types of people, in fact. Gurudev in his talks, if you listen to the commentary of Swami Chinmaya on this, he explains there are three types of these people. One type of people are gone. Second type of people are going. And third type of people are not yet gone. But only these three types of people. Actually, there is nothing called living person. Why? Because every minute the prana is going. It's like the candle, keeps on burning. So either the prana is gone, or it is just in the process of going, or it is you have some consolation that thank God till now my prana is not yet gone. That's all it is. So he says gatasun agatasuncha. Gone and not yet gone. Wise man does not grieve for either the living or for the dead. Why? Because the wise man doesn't see the body, mind, intellect level only. The wise man sees that self which is indestructible. And knowing that self, a person becomes free, attains those two things. Permanent happiness, freedom from fear and sorrow, complete fulfillment. And such a person will never come back into the cycle of birth and death again. So here the Gita starts with this so that a person becomes aware that there is no reason to grieve in life. Even in such a terrible situation where he has to kill his own people, Bhagavan says this grief is uncalled for. Imagine our life. Will there be a horrible situation like this where you have to kill your own people? And this is by righteousness. See, some people get frustrated and they shoot their own children and wife and kill themselves. That is all nonsense. We are not talking about that. Here, because of dharma, he has to actually eliminate. And in that situation, Bhagavan says there is no need to grieve. If there is clarity in life, there is no need to grieve. All grief is only because there is some attachment and some emotionalism. That's all, nothing else. I'll end with this quote of Gurudev. He used to say that if if you look at life with your heart, you weep. But if you look at life with your head, you laugh because it's a joke. It's a big joke going around all around us. Of course, this has a limited context. Don't take it out of the context. If you look at the life with heart means with all the attachments and clinging and the desire, with that if you look at life, it will be misery only, dukkha only it will be. If you look at life from the vision of the knowledge, there is nothing to grieve for. And at the end of the whole Gita, you see Arjuna attains that. It's freedom from grief. He becomes dynamic. The same fellow who was with tears now gets up and starts fighting. So that is this knowledge. Little more of this, more of this we will elaborate in our next upcoming sessions. Bhagavan will indicate the theory of reincarnation in the next verse, and then after that he goes on to explain the preparation. When we hear about this self-knowledge, many times it doesn't sink into our mind. Because the mind is not yet ready. For this self-knowledge there has to be a certain preparation. Then when the knowledge is given, person becomes ready and experiences the knowledge, self-knowledge. That we will take up in our session in May. Our dates for May are 20, 21 and